To the point, formative, entertaining, and protecting the Second Amendment. Welcome back to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading. And once again, thank you for joining me here out at the private range, doing the review on the Arken Optics SH-4 6-24 by 50mm objective Gen 2 optic. Well, that's a lot to say. And I got this paired up with my Rock River Arms varmint bow barrel with a wild chamber. Fantastic chamber for shooting both 5.56 and 223 ammunition, and also using my Bovro QD mount. Probably one of the best QD mounts that money can buy, being that it's self-torquing, and the return to zero on this is absolutely amazing. And you don't exactly give these mounts away. It's, you know, damn near $300 mount. Almost costs as much as the optic itself. You know, especially for an FFP flavor optic that you can get for under 500 bucks, $449, that's pretty darn affordable, especially for those that are just getting in the game. And back in the day, to get an FFP optic for under 500 bucks was non-existent. You know, 6-7 years ago, an FFP optic would have been well north of $1,000. And with new technologies being able to laser engrave those really minute reticles on that front lens, they can bring those prices down considerably. And the fact that you can get this for $449 is absolutely mind-blowing, especially with all the bells and whistles that it has. You know, really beefy turrets on it, illuminated, you name it. Before I set up the diopter, we get the zero squared away, I figured I'd quick go over this owner's manual with you, just kind of give you the quick specifications on it. You know, obviously this is a 6-24 magnification with a 50mm objective. They're claiming a 3.5-inch eye relief and a tube size of 34mm. This is in the mil flavor, so this isn't in the MOA. Obviously the FFP, and the reticle is their VPR mil reticle. And this also has zero stops, not only the elevation, but also the windage. And this has an elevation range of 34 total mils or 108 minutes of angle, windage range of 10 mils or 34 minutes of angle, and you're getting 8 mils of revolution, which with these really beefy turrets, that's really nice. You can make those adjustments really quick and easy. And a parallax adjustment of 25 yards to infinity, length of 14.1 inches, and a total weight of 36.6 ounces. Now on the second page here, there's just kind of touching base in regards to mil or minute of angles, their subtension scales. I'm not going to completely go over that, but on the third page here, kind of give you a quick lowdown on the reticle. So this doesn't have a distinct cross here in the middle, it's more of a fine point. They're also just touching base in regards to reticle focus adjustment, which is very important, and also your parallax adjustment, which I'm about to do that here really quick before we take our shots. But yeah, so just a really quick and easy manual here. They're going over their zero stop feature. So enough of the BS talk, just kind of go over what comes in the box here. They got a cleaning cloth, obviously your sunshades here, and a tool to set your zero stops. Now I just want to touch base with this in regards to those that are absolutely new to the game. This is a FFP, front focal plane, or first focal plane optic. This isn't an SFP, or second focal plane optic. It's really important to know the difference if you're absolutely new and you don't know what the difference is. On a front focal plane or FFP optic, that reticle will adjust with the magnification range. You go all the way, example of this, down to 6, that reticle will shrink down. And as you increase on the magnification range all the way up to 24, that reticle will adjust in size for that magnification. Why is that? You want that in an FFP for your subtensions to stay true through the magnification range. As you adjust down, it shrinks. As you adjust up the magnification, it blows up in size, so your subtensions stay true. So if you're taking shots at 100, 300, 1,000 yards, it doesn't matter. As you adjust through that magnification range, those subtensions will stay true, not only for your elevation, but also your windage. And that's not only important for making sure your subtensions stay true. For example, if you're doing holdovers, that's really the most important part of this, but there's also a ranging aspect of it, but in my opinion, the holdovers is more important. Now, on the flip side of that, with an SFP or a second focal plane optic, that reticle will not adjust with the magnification range. More times than not, those subtensions will only stay true at the highest magnification unless otherwise specified by the manufacturer. So it's really important to keep that in the back of your mind. Now, one of the first things you should do when you get your optic is adjust your diopter. Usually what I like to do is set my side focus or parallax adjustment to infinity, and I'll pull or lefty-loosey counterclockwise the diopter all the way out, and usually just making sure you're not pointing this into the sun is I will look into the reticle, and usually I like to point this at a white wall or just pointing up in the sky, obviously making sure you're not pointing the sun, and you will adjust the diopter until it's clear. And what I like to do is your eye and your brain can play tricks on you. What you want to do is keep your eye shut, open it up, look at the reticle. If it's blurry, shut your eye. I used to make a good solid half turn like that. Open up your eye, look at the reticle. If it's still blurry, it still is. Shut my eye, because your eye will adjust. Your brain and your eye will adjust for a blurry reticle. So that's why you got to shut your eye between adjustments. So open up my eye, it's still blurry, shut my eye, make a half a turn, look at the reticle, and it's getting better. Shut my eye, half a turn, it's getting better. Shut my eye, another half a turn, and right there, it's pretty darn clear. So I'm going to make some fine-tune adjustments here. So open up my eye, look at the reticle, it's still pretty clear, but not quite there yet. And right about there, that looks just about perfect. And it's super crucial that you do that adjustment before you do anything else. Now the next thing is to get this zeroed. Now I'm going to inspect, make sure that this is absolutely empty, so we are good there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the upper off the lower. Now this helps out tremendously if you have a bipod in the front, and what I like to do is support the rear end of the upper, and I'll physically look down the bore at an object of roughly about 50 yards and zero this in before I take my first shot. So this is super hard to get this on video, but this is show you at 50 yards I got roughly a 3 to 4 inch orange circle, and just to get that centered in the middle of the bore. And you can see I got this marginally leveled out. One of the nice things about having a bipod with a bipod lock is you can lock that level down. But with that, the pasty zeroed in, and this is very, very difficult to get this on video, but you can see how far off we are. So I'm just going to make these adjustments on the turret just so we're not wasting ammo. Get this so the reticle goes down, and I'm going to adjust this so the reticle is spot on, at least at 50 yards. So when I take my first shot, I'm not wasting precious ammo. Go back down here, just double check. That looks pretty centered, and this looks good enough for my first shot. And get my range bag set up here to catch my valuable brass. And in this example, I'm using some once fired, is yet to be fired out of this firearm. It is Lake City Brass 05 year, 60 grain VMAX, CCI 400 primers, 23.8 grains of Varget, and a coal of 2.2 inches. Yes, I need a level on this optic, but for now, this will have to do. Just going to clip you out and show you how we did. So not too bad for our very first bore shot. It looks like they come down and to the left, and this is at 50 yards. Now all I simply need to do is put my crosshair on the bullseye and adjust this down and to the left. So my reticle bullseye is right on the bullet hole. So let's take another quick shot here and see how this goes. So not too bad for 2 shots. This will definitely get us close enough so when we take our 100-yard shot, we're not wasting our ammo. Not bad. Oh man, I thought I was out of staples there for a second. That wouldn't be a first. So I'm using 1-inch pasties here. I think this will work really good with that really fine black dot on an orange pasty like that. All right, so we are set up at the 100-yard mark, and this should be really close to bullseye, I would guess. I'm gonna load up 3 total rounds here. I'm just gonna quick double check to see how my level's doing, being I don't have a level on my scope yet. So that's a nice thing about having a bipod with a lock on it. You can really lock this down. Get you pretty darn close to level there. So that looks good. So let's take next 3 shots. Man, my glasses are just fogging up. All right, so this is where I am going to play with my side focus here. And this looks really clear at 100 yards. I'm going to quick do what I call the head bobble test, just to see how accurate that reticle is staying on 0. So when I bobble my head up and down, it's not coming off the target much. I obviously want a clear reticle, but also I want to make sure, more importantly, that my reticle stays on target. And that looks really good. And the surprising thing is this is 100 yards. I got this crystal clear. Right here is blurry, really clear. Bobble my head up and down, and the reticle stays on the target really well. And it is not reading remotely close to 100 yards on this parallax. Just to show you, let me clip you out here. So not remotely close to 100 yards, and that's why you really don't want to pay close attention to what they're truly saying here. You can see how far I'm off here in regards to the parallax adjustment. And, you know, I wish that was a little bit closer to the true adjustment. It is that far off. So I guess one thing I'm not totally impressed with, you know, usually it's remotely close, but it is what it is. So one thing I noticed right out of the gate here is this eye box is pretty unforgiving. You don't get much leeway left to right while getting some scope shadow. So I do have this on 18 power, so I don't really have this cranked. So the eye box is pretty narrow on this. You know, if I crank this all the way up, man, it gets, I would say, really milky. Then again, this is kind of a tunnel of shadows down here. There's not a lot of sun, but it is what it is. I really got to go down to about 18 power to get some really clear glass. And like I said, this eye box is pretty unforgiving. So I am loading the bipod a little bit. I'm pushing forward, slightly pulling back on the grip here, not too much. All right, so it looks roughly about 1 minute of angle group here. This is a clean barrel, so I'm sure it's fouling out. So let's load up another 3 and we'll make that scope adjustment. All right, so we need to go up. And it doesn't get any better than that, my friends. Let's go check it out. Let me get this stopped here. All right, so here was our first shot at 50 yards. Made an adjustment, moved to 100 yards, took 3 shots. I'm getting fouled out here. It's roughly, I would say a little under a minute of angle. And then my last 3 shots, and man, is that thing ever sick. Look at that. I would say that's probably damn near a little over a quarter minute of angle, 3 shots at 100 yards, all in the pasty. It is looking good. So these are 3/4 inch pasties. I'm just going to put these right in the middle so it's a little bit easier to get that fine dot just centrally located. Well, I got 10 rounds loaded up here. Figured we'd have a little tracking fun here at 100 yards. You know, nothing really spectacular, but just goofing around more than anything. So I got this leveled out. That looks really good. Got this locked down nice and tight. And I got 10 rounds loaded up. So I don't have these turrets zeroed out yet on their zero stop, but right now I'm at 3.1 on the elevation and 3.5 on the windage. So I'm going to take 2 shots on the bullseye. This should be right on the bulls. Just kind of double check where we're at here. All right, so I'm going to start out with the bullseye right dead center. And that's pretty much a bullet in a bullet hole. So that looks really, really good. All right, so I'm going to adjust up and to the right 3 inches. So I'm going to adjust right 3 inches and adjust up 3 inches, 0.8 of a mil. You know, 1 full mil adjustment at 100 yards is roughly about 3.6 inches. So if I need to adjust up, so I'm going to adjust up counterclockwise 0.8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I am going to adjust to the right 0.8. So counterclockwise here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be pretty close. I'm still going to aim dead center bullseye. I just want to see how close I am. Just kind of goofing around. I'm still aiming the dead center here. And once again, dead center, pretty much a bullet in a bullet hole. And this Rock River Arms Varmint bull barrel is an absolute freaking laser. So let's go back down to 3.1. I'm going to go back to 3.5 on the windage. So I'm back on the bullseye. Now I'm going to go to the upper left. So I need to go up 0.8 again. So I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now I need to adjust to the left. I'm going to go clockwise 0.8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see how that works. Now, once again, I'm still aiming dead center bullseye. Looks like that one I might have pulled a little bit, but it's still roughly 1 minute of angle. So that looks really good. So I'm going to head back down to 3.1, back to 3.5. So I'm back on bullseye. Now I'm going to go down and to the right. So I need to go down. So I need to go counterclockwise 0.8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I need to go to the right. So I'm going to go counterclockwise 0.8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see how this goes. Once again, I'm aiming for the middle bullseye. Pull it in a bullet hole. Man, this thing is an absolute laser. So go back to 3.1. I am going back to 3.5 on the windage. And now we're going to go to the bottom left corner. So I need to go down. So I'm going to go clockwise 0.8. So I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going left clockwise 0.8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so last 2 rounds, and once again I'm aiming for the middle bullseye. Oh man, I love this rifle. All right, so I am clear. Let's go down and see how we did. All right, to get this pause, and man, those pet loads, 60 grain VMAX, 23.8 grains of Varget is insane. So first 2 shots here, once again, that's a 1/4 minute of angle group there, 2 shots. That is a bullet in a bullet hole. It's just insane. I would say that's 0.1 of something. You know, this is opening back up a little bit, still 1 minute of angle. I think I might have pulled that one a little bit, but this thing is an absolute laser. I mean, you guys could see less than ½ inch, quarter. That is under a quarter, and roughly about, 3/4 to 1 minute of angle there, all at 100 yards, all shot live. And these are 3/4 pasties, under a minute of angle pasties. And I would say this is tracking pretty good here. I'd say this is probably in the middle, probably a little bit to the left there, a little bit to the left there, but I would say that is more than acceptable. Awesome. So I can't express in words how difficult this is to set up, but I'm going to take you through the magnification range here, and I'll try to auto zoom here between magnifications, but we're on the low end here of 6. Here's 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 24. Now, one thing I noticed with this optic, especially on the high-end magnification, is the scope shadow. It is unforgiving. If I ever so slightly move the sandbag to the right or to the left, even up or down, you're going to notice the scope shadow is just unforgiving. I would say the eye box is definitely that 3.5 inches. I'd say that's accurate, but man, oh man, is that scope shadow unforgiving. It doesn't give you much room for error whatsoever. Also, on the high end of the magnification here, especially at 24, you can see some chromatic aberration there. You know, you got to get more down to the 18 to help eliminate that. But all in all, for something that is under 500 bucks, for 449 bucks, especially for someone that's getting into the game, I would say it's not that bad. Now, I do happen to have the Vortex Venom, the 5 to 25. I would say it's exactly in the same price range. I believe those are MSRP, right about 600 bucks. So for something for roughly about $150 more, it might be a real toss-up, probably more of an edge towards the Vortex Venom, which I do own. I just got that. And matter of fact, there's gonna be a video review on that coming here soon. But for something at the very low end of the 6 to 24 magnification range in FFP, I would say not too bad. Well, initial thoughts, obviously the accuracy's there. We've got a 3-shot group here, roughly about a 1/4 minute, right out of the gate, under 1/4 minute, under 1/4 minute, under 1/4 minute, under half, roughly about 1 minute of angle, maybe 7/8, and I'll score that up with my electronic software here, and I'll feed that into you guys so you can get the actual measurements there. But anyway, accuracy's there. I would say the tracking's pretty darn good. I mean, this isn't super serious tracking, just more playing around at the range here at 100 yards. But I'd say it's pretty acceptable. You know, I guess my biggest downfalls with this optic would be the eye box. It's very unforgiving. You move so much to the left or right, up or down, you're gonna run into scope shadow awfully fast. There's no wiggle room there, and that's even throughout the magnification range. If that was my biggest downfall in this optic, that's it. And that can be kind of a massive downfall, especially if you're gonna try and use this for PRS shooting. Last thing you need is to try and fight that eye box for a clear picture. That would be my #1 downfall on that. Second would be the side focus or parallax adjustment. I know the measurements or what they say it's supposed to be on the side focus is never accurate, but even at 100 yards, I think it was showing roughly 50 on there. That goes to show how much you really can't trust those numbers. The glass, it is what it is. It's a $449 FFP scope. You're definitely getting some color color issues here at the higher end of the magnification. Even at roughly 18 power, you're still seeing some color issues there. But like I said, it is what it is. It's $449 optic. You do definitely get some audible clicks here on the turrets. They're definitely not mushy. And I will set the 0 stops up on this, and there's clear instructions on how to do that in the manual. And I'll probably do that when I get home. But all in all, I think it is what it is. It's $449 FFP optic. And if I was to give some suggestions of an alternate optic, especially for not that much more, I would think I'd take a look at the new Vortex Venom, the 5-25, that I believe off the top of my head is $600 MSRP. Matter of fact, I'll post that here in the corner. Make sure that that's accurate. You know, if you could spend the extra $150, I think I would probably do that. But if you're in an absolute budget and you're just getting into the game, you know, I always say buy the best that you can afford. If this is the best you can afford, it's definitely an option, but you might want to look at other optics out there. Especially, like I said, if you can look at that Vortex Venom 5-25 that just came out, or maybe even the Strike Eagle. But I think this was very successful, especially in my reloads. If you're curious, this is with Once Fired Lake City Brass, 60 grain VMAX, 23.8 grains of Varget at a coal of 2.2. It's one of my pet loads, especially for this particular firearm. Accuracy shows that. Other than that, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. And if you did, scratch my back, and I'll continue to scratch yours by not only subscribe, like, and share, hit that notification bell, become a patron. It helps out more, you know. And I'll see you guys in the next video.